Well, hi, Tubers. I'm back with 60 books in isolation. And okay, so this is an interesting one. So if this I look a bit crappy, I've just finished work. So it's called A Little in Love by Susan Fletcher. Eponine story from Les Miserables, book by Victor Hugo and Karen McIntosh musical. Right. And for the winner of the Whitbread First Novel Award, Paris 1832. A street girl lies alone in the darkness, clutching a letter to her heart. Epping remembers being a child, her swing and the peach tree and the baby borough she loved. Mostly she remembers being miserable, taught to lie and cheat and hate that one girl Cosette, who might have been her friend. Now at 16 the two girls meet again and Eponine has one more chance. What is the price of friendship? The love of a boy. Right, okay, so Les Miserables, book by Victor Hugo, and I've read some of Victor Hugo's work and can say for the record he was miserable, wasn't he? Honestly, just read Notre Dame de Paris or Hunchback of Notre Dame and that ending, honestly. Yikes! His endings are cruel and bitter and no wonder he was so popular. So, yes, Victor Hugo was a miserable man. Well, if not a miserable man, his work was certainly miserable. And the Miserable is certainly miserable. Everyone dies. Kidnapping. So it starts with her death. Opens with her being shot, saving Marius, who never deserved her to start with. I never liked Marius to start at all. I did read the book many years ago, and I remember it being very depressed, and it's very long. Like that, it's a very long novel. Okay, this bit here. Let's start out. Right, this is literally chapter 2. She's been shot. She's dying. Him, Marius. Yes, I think of Marius because he makes me happy. He always has. From the first time I saw him in the Goro tenement, he's kind and shy and he hums without knowing it. And once he held my hand on a sunlit street. I whisper, stars, bring him to me. He'll make this hurt less. He smiled very gently. He'd crouch down and say, shush, Eponine, I'm here, see. I don't think I'll be frightened to die if he was by my side. Okay. Yep. Eponine sacrifices her life for Marius and never ever deserved her. This is not a happy story. This is a story came about a young woman who wanted to do better. Wanted to do better by her life. But her circumstances she'd been born in made that impossible. Absolutely made that impossible. So, she's growing up with her parents and the Tonneliers, and I've mispronounced that, I do apologise. And she's taught to steal, she's taught to cheat, she's taught to... Anyone who's seen the Master of the House in Les Miserables, it's like that. She's taught to basically smile and be pretty, and then Cosette is left in her family's care, and she's taught to be cruel to Cosette. She actually tries to befriend her, be nice to her, tries to be a good person, and in return, Eponine is beaten for it. She's humiliated for it. This bit here. I was the kind of Cosette again. I promised Mammon I'd be hard and cruel, and I was. I watched how Mama did it. For being cruel, being cruel was easy to her. She'd push Cosette as she passed her and call her names. She'd look at a new scrubbed floor and say, it's filthy scrubbed out again. Or she'd point at the bleeding cracks on Cosette heels and call out, a cow, look, she has hooves. Abigail were tiny things. I called her ugly. Or stomp on the stairs when she was sleeping. Or wait till she was finished mopping the floors and I would cross it in my mind she was saying oops in a very casual way. Yeah, she's raised to hate Cosette, even though deep down she doesn't, but she's raised to. Basically, she must hate Cosette, or her mother will turn her focused attention on her. Taught to be cruel, and deep down she's not. She's not. She wants more from this. She wants to be a good person, but her circumstances are so much against her. This is when her brother's born, okay, Gavroche. For those who don't know, he's the boy who sang, can you hear the people sing, singing the sounds of gentlemen, that one. Here we are. And this is when he's just been born and he's been rejected by his mother because he's a boy, okay? Cosette sat out of the darkness as pale as a ghost. He needs milk, she whispered, and to be warm. I thought of being cruel, of saying, now what would you know, you're stupid and ugly, but I didn't want to. Baby was so tiny and helpless, I didn't know how to help him. Milk here, will you take him? And pass him to Cosette, I'll look in the cellar. And then together, they feed baby Gavroche. They name him. They love him. And sadly, when after they have to flee their village because um, Monsieur Thénardier killed a man, they live for years secretly under the cover of darkness until they find a boat which is still functional and sail into Paris. Sadly, little Gavroche is left behind. But prior to that, this is where Jean Valjean comes in. Okay, right, and it also focuses a lot because if you know the musical Les Mis, um, Azelma, the sister, doesn't really get much of a focus at all. But this bit here, because she's the one who's the younger sister, and she's also quite spoiled and selfish too. But this is when the crucial moment when Jean Valjean appears, saying that Fantine is dead and is going to take Cosette. This bit here. As Alma Street, no, no, Mama, look, it's the dog from the store with the porcelain face. No, she can't have it. I want it, I want it. He stamped her foot and rolled with rage. It's Cosette's, said the man, and the dog was not the only thing I'll be buying tonight. And Mama folded her arms. There's more. Ale, food, a bed. Are you buying a whole of Montfermeil as a present for that brat? I was spending the night here, yes, and tomorrow I shall be buying that brat, as you call her. Now, this conjured up images of the musical more than the book. That's kind of inevitable in a book like this. So, but I absolutely loved it because obviously this is Les Miserables from the perspective of someone who existed a lot in the shadows. And it's interesting her take on it. There's a wonderful bit where she's talking about the bishop and the two silver candlesticks. Now, for those who know Les Mis, is those candlesticks are crucial because it's a memory serves. Jean Valjean basically rips off the bishop, and then later on, he's caught, taken back, and the bishop picks up the two silver candlesticks and went, I gave you this as a gift, you forgot to take them, as memory serves. And then that puts Jean Valjean on his life of decency. So, right. Right, this bit here. This bit here is when packing up to because it's packing up to go. Cosette didn't really say goodbye. Perhaps she was too filled with other things, shock, hope, disbelief, gratitude. To speak, she stood clutching her new doll. For the first time in years, she was wearing proper clothes. But John had bought her a simple black woolen smock, black stockings, lace boots, and a little black hat. 1,500 francs, said my mother. That's what she'll cost you. We're losing a worker, and you must compensate us. 1,500. He passed the money over in a drawstring bag. To Cosette, he asked, Are you ready? She looked across me for a moment, and I felt ashamed for all the times I called her ugly or stupid girl and kicked her. I wished I was kinder, I wished I was prettier, and I wish you'd taken me too. Yeah, she has to watch Cosette go on to a better life, to a decent life, to a rich life, to a privileged life, and that's always denied her. She's a Thénardier. She is being raised to be cruel and wicked. But deep down though, there's glimmers of hope. There's glimmers of hope is when Eponine's conscience steps in. This bit here. This is when she goes into a church for the first time and feels the Holy Spirit. I will give. Yes, I had to steal, but I will try really hard to give as well. With each bad thing, I try to do good one, because that might make it better. I'll be kind more than I'll be cruel. I was back at the inn and I realised that I'd never even looked for the silver candlesticks, but it didn't matter. Felt I'd come back with something even shinier. My bright new idea. Karma. Eponine's basically found karma. She's trying to be a good person, trying to give back. Basically, if she does good things, maybe her life will get better. And it's just little things, and it's so adorable just imagine Eponine doing this. Let's be trying to be a good person, because as you can imagine, a book called Les Miserables, you know there's no happy ending for, but she's trying. There's glimmers of hope in her life. I started with small things. I stole a loaf of bread from the miller, and then I'm feeling bad about it. I picked a fistful of blackberries and left them on his doorstep. You like blackberries because everyone else did. After that was flowers. I still felt ashamed of snatching the widow Amani's necklace, so I went to her husband's grave and left some honeysuckle on it. I hoped it might make her smile a little. I swept the church parched for leaves. I stacked its hymn books one by one. As I secretly stolen a metal filling from a bridle. Took a handful of mushrooms to the blacksmith. What's this? He asked, suspicious. Mushrooms. I see that, but why are you giving them to me? There's lots of them near the woods. I just thought you might like some. He smiled. His heart was a trusting kind. Mercy, bless you, Eponine. I remember that because it was the first best night I ever had. Yeah. But then obviously further on, obviously it goes bad for the Thénardiers. They have to go to Paris. They leave. They lose Gavroche. Sorry, they steal. They lie. They cheat, and it goes on and on and on as Eponine grows up into a young woman. There is no outlet for her. She's poor. She is actually she's not stupid, but she's not well educated, and people judge her for it. Obviously, right. At this bit here, okay. This bit here is when she's trying to do good. She's trying to get a better life. For 3 days I tried so hard to live a proper life, but I was jeered at and pushed away. I didn't get any food to take back to the Gorbo tenement. I was hungry and cold. Well, I tried one winter, maybe I could move barrels. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Are you a royalist, supporting the king, or are you after a republic like so many are?" I wasn't sure. What had they said at the Cafe Museum? I mumbled, "I think Lamarck will save us." "Then you are a traitor," he shouted, "as well as a grubby little wretch. And she before I set my dog on you." And that's over and over again. Poor Eponine can't get a break. She cannot get a break at all. And then she actually meets John Valjean and Cosette walking in the park. And then her parents see on this opportunity, okay, to kind of tap him for money. And this bit here. This bit here. This kind of sums up her life. This is after her father writes a letter saying, "Our children are dying. We have our wits, but wits can't feed us. We're a good religious folk, and we're still a feather from a passing bird. We asked for help for other godly souls like you, monsieur." Okay. "Dirty your face," called Mama. "Use ash from the fire. Let's find a horse dung in the street." I tried these things. I smeared my face and cloven until Papa nodded. "Better, but still, it isn't quite enough. A cough and a dirty face are good, but we need more." He thought for a moment. Then he raised his hand, looked up and wondered why it was there. Then he hit me. His face met my cheek, and I fell against the fireplace. The pain was quick and hot. "Luke," Mama squealed, "why did you strike the girl for? She's been stealing wealth for us lately." "To Marco, you stupid woman. She's got to look as poor and needy as we can make her. So let me rise up now. She can say she was robbed in the street, that she was injured while defending a poor soul than herself, but she struggled against a man who wished her to enter into dark dealings, and noble heart refused to. They get his pity, you see. Now do you can imagine her life." And all that, okay, she meets Marius. Now Marius who befriends her casually. Marius who gives her his last 5 francs. Marius who is born from a world of privilege and does look down on her. He sees it as, "Oh, poor Eponine, poor Eponine." He doesn't love her. He never loves her. She falls in love with him. She can imagine meeting Marius, okay, because they live in the same tenement block, and seeing his, using him to find happiness, find freedom, find love from this. But Marius, of course, Marius meets Cosette, and that's it. That's it. Not even replacing the heart. It was never there to start with. Okay. Right. It's, and the thing is, it's why everyone judges her. Okay. Right. This is when again she goes to the cafe museum where this whole student rebellion is being set up. Okay. "What is your name?" "Eponine. If you see him, Eponine, it's about Marius. Please tell him that we need him here at the cafe. Tell him Enjolras and the Brotherhood are making plans, and we hope he hasn't deserted us. We've got a republic to fight for." "How do you know to support the king?" "That I won't tell the Grand Demier about your plans, because you're so poor. No poor person could ever support this king. Of course, to rag and bones, still and always." "You tell him if you find him?" "Yes." Yeah. Everyone judges her. Everyone looks down on her. She's stuck in her circumstances, and no one cares. Deep down, okay, Marius looks at some kind of piteous bird. Okay, right. But Marius doesn't really understand the world that she's from. He doesn't. This is when after the kind of thing with Jean Valjean, she goes to prison. Her mama dies. Her sister kind of disappears from this narrative. But if you actually read the book, she goes off to America with her father, who does survive. It's about right. And Marius just doesn't get it. Man just doesn't get it. I don't want to live that life anymore, Marius. Can you believe me? All I've ever wanted is something better. He tilted his head, like he often did. Yes, Eponine, I can believe you. Poverty makes people act against their heart, I know. People makes hard choices just to survive. He took a step towards me and touched my arm as if consoling me. I filled up with relief. He doesn't hate me. Where are you living now? A tree. What? I smiled. I know, but it's clean and safe and I haven't fallen out yet. Right. Yeah, Marius doesn't get it. Marius doesn't get it. And I never liked Marius anyway. I thought Marius was, for want of a better word, a prick. It basically says to Eponine, oh, fine, Cosette. Take her this letter. Take her this letter. That. Yes, all of that. And he doesn't get it. And this was the woman that he's been interacting with all this time. And this bit here, I just want to just talk about this bit, okay, because this is when Cosette and Marius do the whole kind of meet, and here we go, this bit here. Cosette unlocked the gate and let him in. In the garden they looked at each other and gently shook each other's hands. By taking their eyes off each other, they walked through the house and stepped inside. But you brought him happiness, Eponine. He is happy because of you, and that was my only comfort as I cried and cried, feeling so lonely in my house of leaves and singing on my own, pretending you're beside me. I'm not Sarah Banks. Is that Sarah Banks? Yeah. Last name Banks. She played Eponine in the film. Is it Elizabeth Banks? Oh, okay. I'm gonna find the actual actress. So, I think Samantha Banks. Yeah, Samantha. Right. So it goes on and goes on and goes on. Basically, Jean Valjean and Cosette finds out to leave Paris. Student rebellion kicks in, and Eponine gets hold of some money and gives it to the chestnut peddler to get some clothes to save Marius' life. And it's tragic and it's heartbreaking, and she dies because this is not a good happy novel. It's not. This is a story about pain and suffering and degradation, and I will give Susan Fletcher a lot of respect because she gave Eponine so much life and depth, and you knew how it ended, but it doesn't make the heartbreak, it doesn't take away from the heartbreak. This is such a well written, thoughtful, thought out novel, and I loved it. I genuinely loved it. There's a lovely lyrical strength to it as well, which is very kind of similar to Victor Hugo's writing. Now, Victor Hugo, if you actually read his books, they are quite harsh in their content, but they're lyrical as well. This is a very lyrical book, and I reckon if Victor Hugo, I reckon he'd be stoked with this. So, even though I did read somewhere, okay, that Isaiah took a sequel to Court, but I reckon we'll like this. So anyway, A Little in Love by Susan Fletcher, Eponine story from Les Miserables, and I'm signing off here. Bye everyone.